Now, we don't always normally use props in this class, but if you want to use any props, always a towel, a blanket, pillows, you're more than welcome to incorporate them since this is our gentle class. So you're more than welcome to use them however way you feel. I always like just to tap a blanket, especially just so I can, if we're in any poses where our knees are going to be on the ground, it's just a nice little extra support. So we'll start in our traditional comfortable seated position. That can mean your Sukhasana, your pose of ease, crisscross applesauce, your legs laid out in front of you, any way that's going to keep you in a nice tall posture here for the next few moments. You take your hand, find them clasped in your lap or palms down on your knees, maybe to feel a bit more grounded, palms facing up to the sky if you feel like you need a bit more energy drawn into your practice today. And whichever way, when you're ready, just start to close your eyes and start to tune into the present moment here. If closing your eyes doesn't feel comfortable, you can just kind of tilt your chin into your chest and just gaze down. And then as we tune into our practice here, allowing ourselves a moment to start to ground in to ourselves. Maybe just doing a body scan from the crown of our head to the tippy toes. If you're on your sit bones, just maybe lifting one cheek up and down so you can just really feel both your sit bones grounded beneath you. And as you tune into this body scan, just noticing any spaces that feel tense. Maybe some spaces that do feel really good for you here, that feel nice and flexible, the nice movement within the joints, within the muscles. And maybe also noticing the areas that feel like they need a little love and attention. But being kind to yourself as we move through our practice this evening. Begin to connect to your breath, taking an inhale through the nose as you feel the belly lift and rise, expand in all directions. Feel the heart space just lift a little bit taller. And we'll take a deep cleansing exhale, open mouth. Let all the air go nice and slow, big sigh of relief. Let's do one more cleansing breath just like that. A nice deep inhale in. As you inhale, maybe feeling the spine grow a little bit taller. Feel the crown of the head lengthen high to the sky. Again, feeling the heart space lift and rise. And open mouth, exhale. Let all the heaviness just flow away. Feel your shoulders begin to soften away from the ears. You can feel your shoulder blades just press together towards the spine. As you feel them peel together, the heart space lifts open. Shoulder blades, collarbones are spread wide and feel broadened out. See if you can release any tension on your face here, any tension in the corners of the eyes and lips. Just soften them for a moment. Maybe even feel your jawbone release down towards your mat. Just taking nice, smooth breaths, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. And then just slowly draw your chin into your chest. And take your right ear, hover it over your right shoulder. Just feel a nice little spaciousness along the left side of the neck. Start to open. And then exhale as you draw your chin back into center. Take your left ear, draw it over towards the left shoulder. Feel your right shoulder really anchor away from you so you can feel some openness along the right side of the neck. Good. And chin back into your chest. Take your right ear over towards the right shoulder. And then gently tilt the head back to gaze up to the sky. And take your left ear over towards the left shoulder. And then back into center towards your chest. Go ahead and do 3 times in this direction. Nice and slow, take your time. Each time you tilt the head back, see if you can release the shoulders down away from the ears. Moving mindfully through our practice, seeing if you can Be hyper aware of every movement that's going on. Noticing the spaces that need a bit more love and care. Once you've done 3 in this direction, just bring your chin back into chest and go ahead and do 3 in the opposite direction. And once you've done 3 both ways, take your time. We'll meet with your chin back into chest. And just gently tilt the head back to bring the chin parallel to the floor. When you're ready, you can start to open up the eyes, allow the light to travel back in. And we'll meet with our palms down by our sides, facing forward to the top of your mat space. And we'll inhale to reach the arms up overhead. Gaze up towards the sky, connect the palms together, and exhale, lower the hands down to heart center. Good, 2 more times, just like that. Just nice opening with the breath and the movement. Inhale, reach the arms up, spread the heart wide. Exhale, connect the palms, bring it down, Anjali Mudra, heart center. Last one, inhale, lift, open, take up as much space as you can, invite in the new here. And exhale to hug it all back in. Bring your thumbs into your chest, to your heart center, and really feel it press against the sternum to feel that connection. Draw your chin into your chest. Just a soft little bow to ourselves. Taking a moment here to find whatever you need to help guide you through your practice this afternoon. Noticing any mantras that naturally come up for you. Anything you feel, your heart feels a little extra space, maybe dedicating your practice to someone, something, or even some cause out in the world. Taking a moment to find your intention, and when you're ready, take an inhale to seal whatever intention it is that you need, that calls to you, something you want to give, something you want to keep. And on the exhale, let it go. And allow it to be your guides on our mats in this moment. Good. Inhale to reach. Actually, take your hands down. We're going to bring our feet together into a butterfly pose. So Supta Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose here. And again, I like to keep the blanket right behind me. The sit bone's just sitting right on the edge. Gives me just a nice little tilt in my pelvic floor. And as you feel the feet press together, just gently bring your feet in as close as comfortable. It doesn't need to be super close in. Just a nice stretch between the inner thighs and the hip space here. And go ahead and inhale. Just peel the shoulder blades together. Lift the heart forward. Feel the crown of the head and the spine lift, rise tall to the sky. And then on the exhale, we're going to bend to the elbows and we're going to bow forward. Draw the chin into your chest. Soften the neck. You can feel the head release heavy down towards the floor. Just hang out here for just a few breaths. If you feel like you need to move from side to side a little bit to get a little bit more comfortable and situated here, go for it. If you'd like, your elbows can even be used to add a little bit of pressure onto the inner thighs, or even in between, kind of where the calf and the thigh meets, and you can kind of press down just super gently. Not a lot of pressure, just enough to make it feel like you're getting a good little deep stretch in. And we'll take 2 more deep breaths here, allowing gravity to do the work for you, seeing if your legs fall heavier with each exhale. We're going to take 1 more inhale, and 1 more exhale. Good. Stay in your butterfly pose. Just straighten out the arms to lift you back up into a tall position. Now we're going to take let's take our left, bring your left hand to the inside of your left thigh. You're going to bring your right elbow either into the inner thigh space here, or even lower down to your calf, or right in between a crease between the calf and the inner thigh. And you're going to do just a nice little twist here. So you're going to take your left shoulder, you're going to roll it back behind you. You're going to start to take your gaze where the left shoulder is kind of facing away from you, Just finding a nice little twist here. Now you can notice you can put as much pressure into your hand and into your elbow as you want. Start really nice and gentle just to feel the touch. And if you feel like you can press down a little bit more, where it still feels comfortable in the inner thigh space and in your twist. So find that nice happy balance there. Not doing too much. Good. Let's stay here for 2 more breaths. As you inhale, see if you can lift into the heart space. Feel your ribs radiate and press away from you in all directions. And on the exhale, see if you can soften into the left shoulder. Maybe seeing if you can start to take your twist a bit further back. See if you can gaze further back behind you. Good. Let's stay for 1 more inhale. Stay for 1 more exhale. Good, and nice and slow, release the pressure off the hands and the elbows, come back to center, stand nice and tall, feel kind of the difference on the other side, and let's switch it out. Go ahead and bring your left elbow, wherever you found it on the other side, find it here. Take your right hand, place it on top of the right thigh, kind of in the inner thigh portion, and just kind of roll this right shoulder back, lift the heart forward, and take your gaze over your right shoulder here. Now start to play with how much pressure you need on this side. Taking the inhale, again, filling, lifting, radiating in all directions with the breath. And on the exhale, just nice and gentle, roll the right shoulder further back if it allows for it. And maybe seeing if you can twist your gaze a bit further back behind you. Good, and let's stay there for 2 more breaths. Inhaling in, lifting into the bellies, into the heart space. And exhale, softening into the right shoulder. See if you can twist a bit more into it. Good. 1 more breath here. Deep inhale in. And last exhale. Good. And slowly come back up to center. We're going to stay in our butterfly pose here for just another moment. Inhale to reach the arms up overhead. On the exhale, take your left hand down in line with your left hip. Reach the right hand overhead, coming into a nice side bend. Good. Inhale, lift back into center. We're going to do a little bit of movement from side to side, and then we'll find a nice hold. So take your right hand down in line with your right hip. Reach the left hand over. And as you side bend, see if you can roll that top shoulder open to really find that nice opening into the chest and into the shoulders. Then inhale, press yourself away, back to center, both arms up. Exhale, left hand down, right arm comes up and overhead. Good. Gaze up under the right hand towards the sky or ceiling, wherever you're at. Inhale back to center, and exhale, right hand down. Go ahead and do that a few times, following your breath, allowing it to be your guide. Maybe it's a little bit quicker, maybe it's a bit slower. Just find a couple on each side at your own pace. Noticing if you want to reach your hand further out and away from you. Maybe your forearm already touches the ground if you're flexible enough on each side. Go ahead and give me 1 more on each side. And once you've done both sides, we'll meet back over onto the left, and we're going to hold this one here for 3 deep breaths. Now remember, you can keep your hand down. Maybe if the elbow is pressing onto the ground with the right sit bone still on the floor, that feels fine. You can go a little bit deeper. Otherwise, just staying on top of the hand. Feel your sit bones really grounded underneath you. Again, rolling this right shoulder open. See if you can keep the heart and chest lifted and open forward. Good. 2 more deep breaths here. With each exhale, maybe noticing if the body feels a little bit heavier, maybe reaching further over to the side. Good. 1 more inhale here. Last exhale. Beautiful. Inhale nice and slow. Press yourself back up to center, both arms up. Exhale to take your right hand down, and exhale to fully breathe into the side body. Good. So again, finding your forearm or your elbow down to the ground, maybe just the hand. Maybe if you want to reach the hand further out away from you. Different variations. Play with it here. Notice what feels best in your body. Breathe into it, inhaling, maybe just seeing if you find a little lift. Think of trying to not crunch on this right side. Think of really trying to open into the side bodies. See if you can use kind of the upper portion of the ribs to see if you can bend further into it. So avoid the crunching, just noticing a nice soft bend. Good, let's stay here for one more inhale. One more exhale. Good, and inhale, come back to center, reach up overhead. Let's do one more thing here. On our exhale, we're just gonna fold forward, taking the hands as far out in front of us as we can. Once your hands reach the floor beneath you, just start to find a little sway in your shoulders and your torso. It might not be much movement depending on your flexibility in your thighs and the hips. Just seeing if you can find a nice little sway from side to side. Usually we've been doing this in our crisscross position, so we're just adding a bit more intensity here with the feet together. If it feels too much, you're more than welcome to just cross back at the ankles or the shins. And keep here in your forward fold. Find your stillness though, come back to center. Keep the palms down, arms extended away from you. Roll the shoulder blades back and lift the heart through. And then on your exhale, let it all go. And maybe feel your heart space start to get closer to the floor, maybe reaching your arms further out and away from you. Soften into the neck, draw your chin into your chest, let your head rest heavy. Good, let's do 2 more breaths just like that. Inhale to just gently lift the heart forward, get the spine nice and long again. And exhale to fold and melt. Noticing if the shoulders feel heavier, if the hips start to open up a bit more, maybe the heart space just allows itself to unravel towards the ground. Do that one more time. Inhale to halfway lift, just gently gazing forward. And exhale to fully fold. Good. Inhale to slowly come on up. Press yourselves up. Use your hands nice and slow to come up to center. Good. A little counter stretch here. Slowly bring your knees into center. Bring your feet as wide as your mat. Keep your knees into the center. Now you might want to find your feet a little bit further apart. Then you're just going to take your hands, you're going to bring them back behind you. See if you can still stay tall in your chest and your spine. Just little windshield wipers from side to side. So just lower the left knee down, take the right leg over to the other side. Oh yeah, you're gonna find that at the top of the hip here, the IT band, all the way even to maybe the top of the quad space. And inhale as you have the knees to kiss and touch at the center. Exhale, swing the legs over to the left side. Allow the right knee to fall. So I don't know if you saw it from the other side, but again, you're kind of getting into the top of the hip here. The IT band is going to come all the way down the side of the leg. You might even get on top of the quad. Inhale to lift us back up to center. Exhale on over to the other side. Good. And play with it here. Find your movement, find your pace. Just inhaling back to center. Exhale as you fall over to one side. So finding if you want to move a little bit quicker or slower. Maybe you just want to hang out on one side for a few breaths. Find your movement here. Find your pace. If you're a runner, you've been doing some running while we've been in quarantine. This is a great one to do. It gets all the way up into the hips, again to the IT band if we're feeling a little tight there. It's also just a good one to do, especially if you've been sitting a lot all day as well. All right, whichever pace you're at, just find one more on each side. And when you've got both, just meet with your knees back into center. Good. Wiggle your feet so that they come back into center as well. Just lift your hands off the ground, and we're going to shift onto our tabletop position into our cat-cow poses here for a minute. All right, and you're more than welcome again to bring the blanket or towel underneath the knees here if you feel you need a little bit more cushion underneath the knees. And your toes can stay tucked or untucked, but we'll inhale to start with the belly down, tilt the pelvis back, roll the shoulder blades back as you lift through for your cow pose. Exhale, press the earth away from you, round into your upper back, chin into your chest, and extend the tailbone towards the ground for your cat pose. And inhale, lower the bellies down, peel the shoulder blades together, lift the pelvis back, lift the heart forward for cow. And exhale, press the earth away, chin into your chest, round into your upper back, cat pose. And same thing here. Find your movement, find your flow, inhaling into your cows. Exhaling into your cat. And if you need to find a little movement here, you know that I'm all about what you guys want in your practice. So if you need to sway from side to side, maybe just take your hips to your heels a couple times. You've got 5 deep breaths. So move how you want to move, what your body's asking you to do. If you have been joining into our sessions consistently the last couple Tuesdays, maybe trying something new, you can kind of do this where you sink into your hips and then you can bend to the elbows, swoop the chest through to your cow, round into your cat, shift the hips back. Inhale as you flow through, sweeping the heart forward and lifting. So just playing with it. There's many variations you can do. Find which one works for you. We'll stay here for 2 more breaths. One more inhale. And one more exhale. Good. All right. Now I'm going to face you guys. You can still stay where you're at. We're going to add on to our child's pose here. You're going to take your right leg and you're going to extend it off the mat, or if you want to come facing forward like I am, your left knee is going to be in line with the inner arch of the right foot. Really make sure that you're pressing down that pinky toe onto the earth. All 5 toes are grounded and rooted down. Now inhale, same position with your cow pose. Tilt the pelvis back, drop the belly down, lift the heart forward. And exhale, curl and round into your chest, round into your upper back. Press the earth away. The more you can press into the palms, the nice juicier stretch you're going to feel. And then inhale, press the bellies down, tilt the pelvis back, roll the shoulder blades back, lift through. So we're adding a little bit more here. Go ahead and just 2 more breaths. Inhale to cow. Exhale to your cat. Good. And what we're doing here is we're targeting this inner thighs just a little bit more. Good. One more inhale. And one more exhale. Good. Inhale to meet back to center. You're just going to start to walk your hands in towards your knee, glide it up the thigh, and we're going to come into a standing position. This is the perfect time if you want a towel or blanket, place it under your left knee. You're more than welcome to place it here. Your toes can face straight forward, or if you feel you need a little give in your ankle, you can press the right toes just kind of facing angled out and away from you. And we're going to inhale, we're going to reach the arms up overhead. We're going to exhale over to the right side. The right hand's going to gently place onto our right leg. You're going to reach the left arm forward and gaze up overhead. For your right hand, try not to press or lean down into the hand. Be as light as you can. If you feel you do need to lay down, maybe pressing the forearm just gently onto your thigh here versus further down. Good. Take one more inhale, lift into the heart space. Feel the left shoulder open even more. Stay for the exhale. See if your body can just relax and soften and reach further over. Good. Inhale as we come back to center. And shift the hips back. We're going to bring our hands down to the ground. Bring your right knee, place it back into your tabletop position. And let's exhale. We'll shift into our child's pose, Tadasana. As you shift the hips back, noticing how high your hips are, how low your hips are towards the heels. Relax your forehead down onto the mat space. If you want a little bit more of a rest, you can drop the elbows and the forearms down onto the ground as well. And just stay here for 2 deep breaths, just noticing how one side feels over than the other. Remembering that we will always balance out each side. Take one more inhale here. Fill up through your bellies. Feel your belly press against the thighs. And feel the heart facing the upper back. Lift up towards the sky. And if you'd like a nice open mouth exhale, let it all go. Good. And then inhale, just gently lift the hips off the heels. Start to come up into your tabletop position. And let's switch it out. Extend your left leg out to the side of your mat. Make sure the right knee is in line with the inner arch of the left heel. Making sure that the outer edge is pressing down onto the mat. Even that pinky toe is pressing down. All 5 toes are anchored. And then we'll inhale to tilt the pelvis back, the belly down, heart comes forward for cow. Exhale to curl and round. Press the earth away from you. Draw the chin into your chest. Get that nice juicy stretch of the shoulders and the upper back for cat. Inhale to press the bellies down and lift the heart forward, cow pose. Go ahead, 2 deep breaths here, just inhaling and exhaling with your breath. Noticing a little bit more stretch into the inner thigh space. Good. Good. One more inhale. And one more exhale. Good, and then slowly just start to walk your hands in towards the right knee, up to the thigh, as we come into our gate pose. Inhale to reach the arms up overhead. Exhale to take the left hand down. If you can reach down towards the shin, that's fine. Just make sure you're not putting pressure on it. If you do want to put a little pressure in the hand, just maybe the forearm or the hand onto the thigh space. And then gaze up to the sky underneath the right arm. See if you can rotate the right shoulder further back to really get the nice opening along the right side of the body. Good. Let's take another inhale here. See if you can sink and melt into it. Exhale. Good. Inhale as you come back and rise to center. Shift the hips back and start to take your hands down to the ground. Bring your left knee next to your right and then shift back, child's pose. And noticing how both sides feel here. Hopefully a little bit more symmetrical. Maybe a bit more opening into the inner thighs, into the hip area. Good. Stay again here for 2 deep breaths. If you want to find a different variation, maybe your hands down by your sides to allow the shoulders to melt forward. Finding whichever one works best for your practice today. Good. Take one more nice deep inhale here. Fill your bellies up. And a nice open mouth exhale. Let it go. Good. If your arms are by your side, start to reach them back out in front of you. Just gently lift the hips off the heels, coming back neutral tabletop position. And just for a transition here, we'll stay here for just a moment. Curl the toes under. Shift the hips up to the sky. Keep the knees really, really bent as we come into our downward facing dog. So as we keep our knees bent, the more bent your knees are, the less pressure you're going to put on the back of the legs for keeping them straight, especially if they feel a little bit tighter than usual. But we can just hang out here for just a moment. Shift your heels up and down, walk your dog, maybe pivot your heels over to one side and then the other. Just going to move around here, see how you can really press into the earth away from you. Feel the shoulders lift back, feel the hips rise higher. Just kind of lifting up and down with your heels. Just kind of move here, whatever feels good for you. We're here for 3 deep breaths. Maybe you want to just shift forward and shift up, down dog. Keep your head heavy, chin into your chest. Shake your head out, yes and no if you need to. See if you can keep your gaze up towards your belly button. Good. Slowly find stillness again. Taking one more inhale. A nice open mouth exhale, let it go. Maybe find your heels sink a little closer towards the floor. Good. And we'll inhale, we'll gaze up towards the hands. We're going to tiptoe the feet up towards the top of the mat, nice and slow. Take your time. Bring your feet so that they come about hip width apart. Maybe a little bit wider if you want a little bit more of a base under you. And a nice deeper bend into the knees if you're not looking for a stretch in the hamstrings. Reach for opposite elbows and forearms and just find a nice little sway side to side here. Keep the head heavy. If you need to bob your head up and down a couple times, go for it. Completely release the tension in the neck. Allow the head to fall heavy down towards the toes. Finding a nice gentle rock side to side here. Good, and slowly release the elbows if you have them. Keep the chin into your chest, nice and slow, like a rag doll. We're gonna come all the way up into a standing position. If you want, you can use your hands on your thighs as a little support to take you up nice and tall. Once you reach up to the top, just hands down by your side, roll the shoulders back, into our Tadasana Pose. Standing here for just a moment, close your eyes. You can play around with the feet if you'd like. If you want to lift up onto the toes, lift back onto the heels. And then once you've done that a few times, finding your balance to where you're neutral in your strong foundation mountain pose. Good. Find the hips squared forward and underneath the heart space. Find a natural tilt in your pelvic floor. Notice if you're clenching in your glutes or in your quads. Just take a nice exhale, relax, let that clench go. Soften into the shoulders and your heart space. And as you root down in equally through all parts of the feet, notice if you can lift your spine a bit taller, the crown of the head, and even pressing up towards the sky. Imagine like there was a string at the crown of your head and it was lifting you taller and taller. And as you exhale, just soften into that. Okay. And slowly open up the eyes. They're closed. Reach the arms up overhead. We're just going to come to another nice side bends here. Doing a lot of side bends in class today. So I want you to keep the arms up overhead, and I want you to bend the right elbow so that the right hand is going to be coming, just kind of pressing onto the back space. With your left hand, you're going to reach for the right elbow. And then if this feels too much here, you can just kind of reach for opposite elbows. That's fine as well. So instead of just reaching for one, because we are going to get to a really nice stretch along the tricep, the lat muscle here, into the sartorius muscle. So take an inhale, just grow nice and tall. Feel your right elbow reach tall to the sky. On the exhales, take a nice little side bend. Gaze up under towards that right elbow. You should feel a real nice stretch along the trap, right along the side here. Good. Stay here for one more inhale. Deepen into that side bend. Exhale. Good. Inhale as you come back to center. Reach both arms back up overhead. Exhale. Find your left hand placing right in between the shoulder blades. Right hand reaches for the left elbow. Again, if you just want to switch the arms, so you just want to reach for opposite elbows, that's fine as well. And take an inhale. Feel the elbow reach long and tall up towards the ceiling. Exhale, side bend over to the right side. Throw your hips just slightly over to the left, not too much. And see if you can keep your gaze up towards the left elbow, up towards the sky. Take one more inhale here. See if you can exhale, deepen, and melt into that right side body. Good. Inhale as you come back to center. Release both arms back up overhead. On this exhale, bend into the elbows. Lift the heart space forward through your cactus arms. Tilt the head back. Peel the shoulder blades together so you really feel a nice stretch in the front body. Good. And inhale to reach both arms up overhead. Connect the palms. Exhale, bring your hands down to heart center. Good. Come on up to the top of your mat if you're not there already. Let's work into some nice low lunges, getting into the hip spaces one more time. Go ahead and take your right leg back behind you. And when you're ready, find your right knee down onto the ground. Stay up tall here for just a moment and just find a little movement from forward and back. So you can just feel yourself moving in, shifting forward into this right hip area because we're getting into the right quad here just a bit. And into the left glute, left hip, left hamstring. As you move forward, try not to keep your chest forward, too much forward out in front of you. So you can still maintain the heart over the hip stacked under the heart space. I know that might be a lot to ask, so you don't need to move too in-depth forward, just moving nice and slow with your breath, with your pace that feels comfortable. Noticing that if the exhale allows you to move a little bit further, see if you can release the tension in the connective tissues and the muscles. Good. And we'll take one more inhale, grow nice and tall once more. On the exhale, see if you can lean as far as you can, nice and slow. And we'll hold it there. Once you're there, go ahead and shift the chest forward on top of the thigh. Plant your hands down. And I want you to wiggle your left foot over towards the left side of the mat. Bring your left hand inside so you've got a lot of space in front of you here. This is going to be our modified lizard pose today. modified because I want us to take our hands. I want you to walk over towards the right side of your mat. So your hands are almost off your mat space. Let me see if I can face you guys, see if that looks a little bit better for you. All right, so this is our traditional lizard straight forward. I want you to walk your hands out over towards the right side. And enough so that you can still keep long and tall in the spine here for just a moment. And know if you need to come in a little bit, you're more than welcome to. Find that point where it starts to feel good. And then inhale, peel the shoulder blades together, lift the heart forward. And then exhale, I want you to walk your hands further out, melt your chest down as comfortable as possible. Yeah, we're really getting into this inner thigh, even up towards the back of the glute there, right underneath it. We're gonna hold here for 5 deep breaths. So allow your chin and your head to hang heavy. Find whatever passive or active breath you'd like. See if you can maybe hold the pose, be as still as possible. Notice any resistance your body may be telling you. And listening to yourself to see if maybe you can go past that edge or finding that edge. Yeah, you got it. 2 more breaths here. Good. 1 more inhale. 1 more exhale. Good. Slowly start to take yourselves back into center. And from here, you're going to take your left foot, you're going to wiggle it over towards the right side of the mat. So much so, the left hand's going to come back to the left side. And you're going to wiggle it so that you come down into your pigeon pose from here. With our pigeon pose, see if you can still keep your hips facing forward to the top of your mat space. Hands are going to be pressing down into the mat. And then inhale, stay here tall for 1 second. And then exhale, bend into your elbows and find your chest getting close down towards the ground. You can stay on your forearms or elbows here, or you can start to walk your hands further out and away from you. Just finding whatever feels good for you in this space. I know we're working a lot into the hips, into the inner thighs. So be kind, be gentle with yourselves. Honor this space. And we'll be here for 5 deep breaths. It's hard to kind of focus into the present moment, always tuning back into your breath space, and also finding that physical connection. So just noticing where the tension is, taking that notice in as you inhale. And then as you exhale, see if you can soften into the left glute. Maybe the shoulders relax a little and the chest falls further forward. So just finding on that exhale, noticing if you can just release the softness, release the tension, and find that it naturally flows away. We're here for 2 more deep breaths. Good. 1 more inhale. 1 more exhale. Good. Slowly lift yourself back up nice and slow. Find your hands back into center, nice and tall. Curl the back, right toes under, and shift your legs so that you just come shooting the hips up into your downward facing dog. Press your left toes back to meet your right. Find your left leg straightens out nice and slowly. Just for a moment, noticing the difference here. Good, and then inhale, gaze up to the hand. You're gonna take your right foot forward, bring your right foot in between your hands. Find a moment and then take the left knee down to the ground. Once you've got your balance, come on up. Bring your hands on top of the right quad. And same thing here we did to the other side. Just find your movement going forward and back. Noticing how it feels in the quad, the left side, on the right side of your glutes and your hips. As you come forward and back. And we were on our knee for a little while, so if you do need to prop it up with a blanket or a towel, you're more than welcome to do so there. Good. And then on our next inhale, we're going to come all the way up. Find your heart stacked over your hips. Hips right under the heart space. And exhale. Soften into the hips, coming into the lowest point of your lunge as much as you can. And then go ahead and lift the chest forward. Take your hands down. Good. And then from here, take your right foot, wiggle it over to the right side of your mat. Good. And then we're going to come into a variation of a humble lizard, I guess you can call it. You're going to walk your hands over towards the left side of the mat, even off the mat, maybe more so. See if that right knee, how much did you move over? Keep the right knee still facing forward over your two middle toes. So if the right knee comes inward, it's a bit too much. See how much you can move over without the knee falling or collapsing inward. And once you've found that position, keep the hands where they're at. Inhale, press the shoulder blades together, lift the heart through. And then exhale, maybe walking the hands further out away from you. Allow your chest to fall down. And 5 deep breaths here. Noticing if you want to take your hands a bit further out, if you feel like you need a bit more support. Try to keep the elbows a little bit bendy so they're not super tight and tense. Find a nice little give in your elbows. Sticking with your breath. Again, noticing if your exhale allows for any further movement. Good, 2 more deep breaths in. Good. 1 more inhale. Nice exhale, let it go. And slowly prop yourselves back up nice and tall. Walk your hands in. And we're going to come into Pigeon Pose from here. So taking your right foot over towards the left side of your mat. Take the right hand out over to the right side. And find your hips square to the top of the mat. Good. And once you're facing to the top, you've got your position down. Just bring the arms out in front of you. Nice and tall as you can with your spine, with the crown of the head lifting. And then exhale to bend into your elbows and come down on your forearms first if you'd like. Or if you're ready to reach further forward, you can reach the hands further out and away from you. And we're here again, 5 deep breaths. Taking a moment here to just honor this peace, this time with yourselves, being as mindful as you can in this moment. Always remember you can just tune back into your breath. And it helps to do like a little body scan, just reconnect and realign, see how everything's feeling from the crown of the head down to the tippy toes. And then check in with your breath if you're nice and slow. Good. 2 more deep breaths. You guys got it. Good. 1 more inhale all together. And exhale, let it go. Good. And this time, you're just going to walk your hands back up. Instead of going into that down dog, you're going to shift into the right glute so that we find ourselves onto our sit bones once again. You're going to bring your feet straight out in front of you. You can either, you can face long ways on your mat. I'm just kind of facing you guys forward. And then we'll inhale to reach the arms up overhead, nice, long, and tall. Exhale as you hinge at the hips and further forward fold. Allow your heart space, your chest to fall down. You can reach for the side of your feet. You can reach on your feet, on your shins, on your ankles, down by your side, whatever's comfortable in your space here. Let's do that 1 more time. Keep your hands where they're at, though. See if you can flex your toes to your face. Roll the shoulder blades back. Lift the heart through. Get the spine nice and long and tall. And then exhale. Last one. Full forward fold. And hang out here in your fold for 3 deep breaths. Again, reaching, touching, whatever you can grab hold of. Feeling that nice juicy stretch at the back of the legs. Good, one more inhale here. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. Nice and slow. Walk your hands back in, get nice and long. Heart over hips, hips under the heart space. And if you need to, shift your way further forward. We're going to find ourselves all the way down onto our backs. Once the shoulders hit the ground, the crown of the, or back of the head reaches the earth, bring your knees into your chest. And go ahead and find some maybe nice knee circles in all directions. Maybe giving your low back a nice little massage. Good. Rotate into the opposite direction. Good. And then find your knees back into center. And we're going to take our legs, we're going to bring them over towards the left side of our mat space. You'll gaze over your right shoulder. If you need to, you can kind of bring your center of your shoulder blades together on your mat. So really making sure that your shoulders stay anchored down. Gaze over your right shoulder to gaze over your right fingertips. And hold it here for 2 deep breaths, allowing some space to realign and reopen in the lower right back. Maybe again along the IT band on the top of the hip, the right outer quad here. See if on your next inhale, the last one here, just breathing into your bellies, feel it lift and rise, expand. And exhale. Feel your heart melt down into the earth. Feel the shoulder anchor down even more. Good. Next inhale, just slowly lift your knees back into center. Find your hips squared back up onto your mat space. And as you exhale, shifting the knees over towards the right side of your mat, fall over and gazing either straight up to the sky or over your left shoulder. And here in our low spinal twist on the opposite side. Taking an inhale, see if you can actually breathe into this lower back area, into this left side, this left hip, as you feel the ribs expand and lift. And a nice soft exhale. Notice the heart space, the left shoulder, anchor so much more into the mat space. Take one more inhale here. And one more exhale, let it go. Good. Slowly find your knees lifting back up to center. For one last time, hug your knees in towards your chest and lift the head so that the forehead and the knees can touch. Wrap your hands around your shins and hold here for 3. Give yourself a nice loving big hug, big squeeze for 2. The last one. And exhale. Completely let it all go into your final Shavasana, your dead man pose. Lengthen out the legs, the arms as comfortable, as wide as you like. If you want to bring a towel or something to place over your eyes, you're more than welcome to, or just keeping the eyes closed. So we come into our final resting pose. Taking this time to savor all that we've done in our practice, all leading up to this moment here. This moment to relax, settle in, find that healing or that deep connection that we need to do here. Allowing this moment to yourselves and honoring this time, and also thanking yourselves for coming in to this space, for allowing yourself this awesome yoga practice that you totally deserve. Start to take a nice deep inhale in. And the slowest exhale you can, let it go. Now this is your home practice. You're more than welcome to stay in your Shavasana a bit longer. But if you're ready to start to bring awareness back into your bodies as you start to wiggle the toes, roll out the ankles, wiggle the fingers and roll out the wrists. You shake your head from side to side, bringing ear to ear to the mat. And when you're ready, if it feels good in the space you're in, you can inhale to reach the arms up overhead. Get nice and long from the fingertips all the way to the ends of your toes. Reach out, breathe in here one more time. Fill that belly all the way up to the sky. And as loud as you can, once more, open mouth, sigh of relief, let it all go. Good. Slowly bend your knees into your chest and find yourselves over onto one side that feels comfortable for you, and bring your hands underneath your head and pause there for just a moment in your fetal position. Although this signifies the ending of our yoga practice here in the present moment, remember that your yoga always goes with you off your mat as it brings about this new energy, this rebirth in mind, body, and spirit. When you're ready, extend the top of your leg to the top of your mat. Use your hands to walk you back up into any seated position of your choice. And we'll meet with hands at heart center, chin into our chest, and a gentle bow to all of ourselves. Thank you all so much for being here on our lovely Tuesdays for our practice this evening, allowing yourselves to rejoice in this moment to yourselves. It's been a pleasure and honor to be your guide as always. The teacher, student, light in me will always honor the teacher, student, light in you. Namaste. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. I wish you all a lovely, lovely evening. Again, my name is Cindy. If you have any questions or comments, you're more than welcome to put it in the chat box. I'll be happy to answer. Let me know how you guys like one of the two playlists, if you were able to choose between. If you like the lo-fi, let me know. So I wish you all a great evening.